Bailey CADAMARTERI.
Mm.
Do we think he is going to be in and around the squad this season? Do we think he's going to be loaned out potentially? Do we think he's ready to make that step up? Obviously, he broke through last season. There's a lot to be expected of a young player developing. You've got to manage his minutes properly. Jack, how do you feel like we're going to manage him this season? Where do you think he's going to go with us?
I can see him having a similar amount of game time to how he did. Well, effectively, if you multiply it by 2, because it was the second half of the season where he was actually being used. But with how he was coming on and doing so well, and he actually scored a decent amount of goals, I thought, considering he was a youngster that was breaking into the first team, and then he just kept scoring. I can see
he got four goals in the league and 1 assist in 23 appearances, and a lot of those were sub appearances. So
that's not bad going.
And I think if you multiply that by 2, because I think he's going to get used that sort of amount, but for the whole season now. I can see him being an excellent bench striker that will come on and do some damage, and then maybe work your way a bit like I guess we're doing it with Pierce Charles to becoming the first choice in the net in the next couple of years or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the plan probably is to have the strike. If we're going to go with a front 2 at any point, the long-term future options are going to probably be Charlie McNeill and Cads together, because I think with how they were both playing as well, I think they'd work very, very well together. And I can just see that being I can see him and McNeill being used in similar sort of ways in that regard, actually.
That's the thing, because we've got two young strikers now, and McNeill's obviously highly rated as well. Jake, what are you thinking on CADAMARTERI?
I'm in the same boat, but I'm also in this kind of thing where you got to remember with McNeill and Cads, we don't have to register them. So they're actually valuable being in and around the squad just in case there is something that you've got tired legs and you need something to throw on. I think if you actually look at the progression that he's had since pre-season now, he looks a different player. In that pre-season game, he was running into players and doing tackles. He looks like he'd been in the gym and properly just bulked. And as a striker, you want that because you've got the hold-up play that you can hold off a player while you've got someone like, say, a Gassama or Masaba running down the other side to make that space. That's going to be really helpful. Because the thing is, I'm at this thing where he probably, with the way he was trying to play, he's your Michael Smith replacement down the future, the one that holds the ball up and makes space, but can also turn on a dime and do the running in behind. And I'm excited to see a Cads McNeill partnership. I won't lie. They look really good. It's the first time in a long time you look at this squad. We got people in different positions where the potential, and we haven't had that for a while. For the longest time, it's been a 27, 28-year-old. It's like, right, can we do this? But then can we get some sell-on value from him if he does really well here? There's actually, if you actually look at it, there's lots of potential around it, and I think Cads will play a big part in maybe just coming off the bench. Maybe there's some games where he'll earn his start, because you've seen that Danny's not scared. If you do well in training and you're doing really well, he won't be scared to turn and say you're playing.
Mm-hmm. I've just done some maths, right? And I've looked at the minutes of Cads and Ugbo.
Yep.
So if you do the maths and divide the minutes by the games over the 90, Ugbo scores a goal on average every 2.7 games.
Yep.
Okay. That's over the course of the season. That's not just with us. That was his entire championship season last season.
Yeah.
CADAMARTERI, based on his minutes, he's had less minutes. A goal every 3 games. So it's close. They're very close in that regard. So it's a case of, with time, obviously that's just a stat that I wouldn't read too much into, but if you look at, a lot of people do base things on stats, it's not bad. If we're talking about Ugbo as somebody that we're potentially going in for big money for.
Remember also that one of the reasons that Ugbo came in, Bailey got injured. Bailey had a little injury in that period. I think if he didn't get injury and Pato didn't get injury, you probably still get Ugbo, but maybe it's not as productive for Ugbo.
Yeah.
Because of how he was playing.
I think he's. We won't loan him out. As you said, he's strengthened up this summer. I think he's going to be. I don't think it'll be a make or break season for him, but I think it will definitely be a season of. We've got Charlie McNeill there. They're going to push each other. Yeah. We've got options.
Yeah.
And we don't know if Ugbo's going to be through the door. I don't think we'll rely on these two youngsters, don't get me wrong. I think we do need somebody like an Ugbo to come in and actually be.
You need a number 9, don't you? You need an actual proven number 9.
Yeah. He's still only 19. You don't pin it all on him. But if you go based off his start at Wednesday, I think he's shown enough and he's got the desire and the commitment to be a player that in the next couple of years he could be that for us. So,
and by
if I was to put a prediction on it,
by that time his little brother could be around the first team.
Oh yeah,
his little brother just
exactly.
good.
His little brother's scoring a hatful, isn't he, for the Wednesday juniors? Yeah.
Well, CADAMARTERI always. That's the thing. He was that player that was always scoring in the youth team. And we were like, when's he going to get his opportunity? And now it's just about having a manager that can manage him properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. His ceiling could be higher than that, though.
Yeah.
And under the right sort of manager like Danny Rull, it really could be that he's just going to keep his feet on the ground, keep working, doing the right thing. Clearly, obviously, as we say, if he has bulked up and he's been doing that, he's trying to become a more physical player as well. It could be a case of I think he will get, as you said, he will get time across the entire season this time. He'll be put in the team to be around, and I think his minutes will. I would be interested to see at the end of the season if we look at his minutes and I do the same sort of maths I just did. So I'll try and remember to do that. If I wouldn't be surprised to see it be he score more goals and improve that stat. You know. I reckon. I mean, if he ends up being a player that scores like a goal every 2 games, you're looking at a player that is a top end player.
That's a 20 goal season
you
striker,
looking
basically.
at a goal?
Yeah. Exactly. So that's how close he is.
Well, sorry. And if you're also looking at a player that does that, you'd look potentially at what can we use you want to keep a player, but then you go, okay, what can we do as a deal where we say we sell them to a Prem club, but then we say, also we want 20% sell-on fee if you sell him on again.
Yeah.
I know people don't like thinking about that side of it, but you have to when it's deep down.
You have to now, really. And can I just
absolutely.
say as well, the other option, the sort of alternative of Charlie McNeill pushing each other and whatnot, the only reason Man United got rid of him and let him go is because there were too many players coming through their youth academy that would have made it into the first team, and they want the branding aspect. Charlie McNeill was actually hyped up and whatever else as much as Kobbie Mainoo was.
Oh yeah,
because they were in the same class, and the only reason Charlie McNeill got released was because of the fact that Man United need we want a big name striker. We don't. There's too many that are like coming through the academy now. We need the branding. We need to get Man United back up there as one of the big brands and blah blah blah. And that is one of the big motivators behind them letting go of Charlie McNeill.
What's
Charlie
interesting, actually. I think if you look at the stats, and I don't like basing everything off stats because football's not played on stats, but it's very helpful. He's got a similar amount of minutes in League 2, and his stats are actually technically worse because he's actually got a very, very almost identical number of minutes to CADAMARTERI in the Championship in League 2, but he's only scored half the goals that CADAMARTERI did. So he scored
a lot of the time they weren't playing him in his proper position. They weren't actually playing him in the player.
Exactly.
Like
so there's that side of it. Because if you look at his in the under-18 Premier League, in 35 appearances, he scored 29 goals, but that's the under-18s. You know, it's that. Because it's not got the physicality of it, but
I think that's something that a lot of people said in the stream chat as well of yours, Jake, was that Charlie McNeill, he was a striker, but he was passing it and had the vision of a midfielder.
Yeah.
And it was like really, really interesting to see kind of thing. And
he got a good...
Well, you've got to be a bit of an all-rounder in those situations.
Yeah, you can
in
play
those
him as
clubs.
You can play him as a 10 if need be. So you could potentially see him do a kind of, he may not come on as a striker. Maybe him and Bailey come on at the same time and you put him in a 10 role where Josh Windass is.